Nobody can give me a valid reason why Smallville was not a great TV show. Taught so many lessons about life and about just because how you have great power doesn't mean that you can go through life without having some type of help. You can't go through life thinking you're invincible because you will be proven wrong sometimes. And to go in life thinking about how just because you have certain abilities and certain things that you can do that others can't doesn't mean that you're going to be on top of everything in every situation. I have so many people from my school saying that Smallville sucked. It had so many plot holes. Every show has plot holes. Every single show, some more than others. Were there plot holes in Smallville? Yes, there were. But at the same time, the plot holes were covered up and the plot holes were minuscule to the great directing and the great situations that are going on. First of all, the number one thing I liked about Smallville was the fact that somebody as powerful as Superman needed to still have friends help him out with certain things he did. For example, Chloe Sullivan, played by Allison Mack. One of my favorite actors of all time, man. I know I haven't seen her in anything else besides Marvel, but played Chloe Sullivan so goddamn good, I don't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? Look, Chloe Sullivan was a great character. Great character. She helped out Clark through a lot of stuff. Before, when she found out he had powers and stuff, you know what I'm saying? And Clark had to do on missions and this, that, and the third. She was there to help him out with missions, this, that, and the third, the technological side. That's another great example of how just because you're powerful and have this, that, and the third, that doesn't mean that you can do it all by yourself. Everybody needs help. You know what I'm saying? And the support of Oliver Queen. Oliver Queen came in there, you know what I'm saying, around season what season was it? He came in season 6. Hated that season. That season was when Lana got with Lex. But yeah, man, like Oliver Queen was in there, you know what I'm saying, helping Clark out, telling him that look, you have to be more proactive. You can't just wait for crime to, come to your front door. You have to go out and see crime that's already, it's already happening, and this, that, and the third, not waiting for it. That was a regular human telling him that. You know what I'm saying? Just proving just because you're superpowers and stuff like that doesn't mean you're always thinking correctly and you can do all these things. The whole thing with Lois and Clark was, it was like, the typical thing, like, like when you're younger, usually when you have a crush on somebody, you don't like them you treat them a certain way like you don't like them. But I wanted to make this video is because there were so many people out there saying Smallville wasn't a good show. Yes, it was. Yes, it was, man. Another thing, just because you're superpowered doesn't mean you're going to win every fight. Clark went through a bunch of situations where his ass, without doing any type of investigating or trying to look before he leaped. You know what I'm saying? He tried to jump before he leaped a lot of the times. He walked into kryptonite situations and this, that, and third, and always, would run into kryptonite and fall down and have somebody have to help him and this, that, and third. You know what I'm saying? It shows you that just because you can do a lot of things doesn't mean that you don't have to put in work. Hard work beats talent when talent don't work. He didn't work to investigate before he went to certain places. He didn't work to think about things before he did it. That's why he got caught in those situations where he ran into kryptonite. Things always, as in the whole situation with Clark and Lex. The show from season 1 to season 10, the last episode, it basically showed how the way Lex was and how he became evil, it was shaped by how Clark treated him. Now let me break it down. Look, Clark was very secretive, and he wasn't a good liar, and Lex knew that. And the fact that since he was his best friend and wouldn't tell him anything, it drove Lex insane. Lex felt like he was being very truthful and this, that, and the third, but Clark wasn't reciprocating and this, that, and the third. Like it showed how that secrecy about Clark, the fact that Clark wasn't a good liar, and the fact that he had this big secret and he found it out, it just felt like Lex felt betrayed. And also the things with lying on, this, that, and the third. John Glover, Academy Award winner. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Smallville was a great, great show, man. It also taught things like when you lose something, you don't give up. You learn to adapt. There was like a couple episodes, more than a couple episodes, where Clark lost his powers. Lost his powers through kryptonite versus kryptonite and electricity, going from one person to the next. He had to watch his powers become somebody else's own. He lost his powers from Jor-El took his powers in season 5 because he didn't go back to the Fortress of Solitude. You know what I'm saying? When he was supposed to before sunset. You know what I'm saying? And when he lost the powers, he adapted. It was hard at first, but he adapted. And eventually, it taught people that watched the episodes and watched the show that just because something happens that where you lose something that you used to be doesn't mean you don't give up. Doesn't mean that you give up. Doesn't mean that you give up. It means that you keep on going. It means that you would try to adapt and try to make the best out of the situation. And what better example is that shown from the most powerful man alive, losing the thing that he was born with, all the powers that made him the most powerful man alive, and he was still able to pick himself up and carry himself and be a regular human and try to enjoy life, which was mostly shown. Was the greatest example of that was season 5 when he lost his powers and Jor-El took him, and you know what I'm saying, he was trying to be normal, and he was like, you know what, it's okay because I have great parents like Jonathan and Martha Kent to help me out with this stuff. Jonathan and Martha Kent were like the greatest parents of all time, one of the greatest parents of all time, TV series wise. They were so great. They taught you how to treat your son in situations where they think he was right, and try to be the best interest, and also try to let your son go through things on his own, and also understanding that the different mindsets of Jonathan and Martha Kent, the different mindsets they had on certain situations, they always worked it out. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't like just completely like no, no, Clark, you can't do that, or no, 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 Clark, you're not going to do that. They always gave a reason, an example, a valid example. And of course, Clark being a teenager most of the season and stuff like that, he did most of the stuff that he wanted to do anyway. Like the biggest thing he wanted to do was join the football team. But Jonathan was like, no, you're going to hurt somebody. All right, well, he still joined anyway. He ended up hurting somebody by accident in season 4. That was a big example. And he was like, Dad, I tripped. I tripped because of something made me trip. And you know what I'm saying? Instead of Jonathan being like, no, you're making excuses, he would leave his son. And also sometimes he was like, no, I know you're young, I know, but I know what's best for you, and you're not gonna be able to do this, which was to stay in football. Because he knew early on that he was gonna have to lie about his powers, about his physicals and stuff like that. It took Clark to go through the situation again in season 4 and realize what a person that was in his position, that the position that he wanted to be in, that dude, I forgot his name, he had the power to paralyze people. He had the power to, paralyze people on the football field. It took him and seeing that to realize that what he went through and to see it himself, which just goes to show you that sometimes people will give you advice about things in life. They will give you advice about things in life, but at the end of the day, sometimes it takes for you to go through it first before you can actually take the advice and think the advice is okay. So yeah, I've been through the same situation too. But Smallville was a great show. Nobody can tell me that Smallville was not a good show, man. Smallville was great. Bunch of examples. It was just a video I felt like making. I don't even know how long this video is. I don't give a fuck. Smallville was a great fucking show. Everybody should go watch it. Shit. I'm talking about this shit goddamn 5 years later when this shit last aired. The last episode of Smallville aired in 2011. Alright? Everybody go watch this shit. Go watch it. Smallville. This is season 1. This is season 10. You see the upgrade? See the upgrade? He went from being shirtless, tied to a goddamn scarecrow thing, to being in a suit. Fucking great.